to say, hey guys, so I had to jump on it.
Good looking out.
Absolutely.
Well, welcome back to Keeping It Together.
But separate.
You know,
Black people, no.
living in. Now's not the time.
You're
This
right.
is serious.
This is serious.
Yeah.
No,
We just want to say that it has been a while. We're not proud of it, you know.
We're not. And we say this at the beginning of every podcast.
I know. Like, oh my gosh.
Like, this is an example of somebody not actively working on themselves.
Okay.
So we're trying to do better and lead by example.
I like
So
that.
starting today,
Okay.
we're going to get it right and we're going to be more consistent because we want better.
And we got a lot to say.
We do.
And we can't be afraid to say it.
At all. Hence our shirt.
Yeah. If
For
you're
those
watching, you know, we're going to get into the nitty gritty.
the nitty but gritty.
Just our opinion on the presidential election.
Yes.
Well, first off, Lavinia, how are you feeling about everything that's conspired?
Transpire. Yes.
Sorry. I don't
Okay.
know why I attempt to use big words, knowing my vocabulary is like this big.
Okay. I got you.
Lavinia's the dictionary, so
Yeah.
she got my back. Go ahead.
But honestly, it was heart wrenching. Like it was gut wrenching. It was hard to watch, and it's like I know a lot of people are happy about what happened clearly because of the vote, and there's people who aren't, and people like me aren't very happy about what happened, and it's like obviously Kamala didn't win. And I mean, that's okay because, like, whoever's the president, that's who's going to be the president and stuff like that. And the God we serve remains the same. And I'm okay.
Yeah.
But a lot of people in my community were very hurt, traumatized, upset because it hurts. It hurts for a lot of reasons.
Yeah. I'm definitely feeling somber too. Is that right? Is that good? Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Wow, choking. Thank you. Anyways, I am definitely feeling somber myself. Just everything that's happened, kind of the situation we're in, based off who we are, how we carry ourselves, our morals. There's a lot that came into play that just has the difference of opinions really being there.
Yeah, I think the country is really left and really right and really liberal and really conservative and really Republican and really Democratic,
and we just don't believe in just black and white.
It's not black and white. I think like figuratively speaking, not literally speaking, it is not black and white. And figuratively speaking, black and white means straightforward. For those who are confused. But I've never believed that it's straightforward because it's not.
Yeah, that's good. I think we should start by saying like where we stand as human beings. So we are African American women.
I was gonna do this too. We didn't discuss it.
We didn't.
Yeah.
I like that we're always on the same page. We're African American women.
Yes.
We are Christians.
Yes.
Raised Baptist, now more so non-denominational focus.
Very Baptist.
Very Baptist. Still traditional based off the way we were raised.
And our morals and how we carry ourselves to this day.
Yes, we consider ourselves pretty conservative.
Yeah.
Like it's there's no like, ooh,
there's no wavering.
There's no.
Right.
We've also been Christians our whole lives.
Yes, we got saved at a very young age. And for those who don't know, salvation is when you accept Jesus into your life as your personal Savior. And that's how we, as Christians, believe we get to heaven.
Yes, absolutely. So, saved at a young age, known Christianity. It was generational for us. That's one thing that we got.
We are not your ordinary preacher's kids.
Yes, we're preacher's kids, but not the ones you think of.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that lays a basis of where you would understand our mindset.
Right.
To a certain extent. Because I started with, now God first, but I did start with we are African American women.
Yep.
So we are at a really, not anything crazy, just really trying to understand the balance of everything.
Yeah, because it is something to balance. Like, obviously, being a conservative African American woman, it's it's almost ambiguous. It's like there's no way for you to pick a side.
Yeah.
Like there's literally no way for you to pick a
Yeah.
side. And then you have to weigh your options. You're like, okay, I'm a Christian, so Christian values come first to me, and you have to weigh those Christian values. Honestly, no, you don't. Christian values come first to me. So
Period.
whichever political party is saying what I believe as a Christian is okay, that's what I'm going with.
Yeah.
As far as my decision on who to vote for.
Absolutely.
Now, who we voted for is painfully obvious if you're watching.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even if you're watching. Anybody that knows us, I think that's what's hard to navigate, because, like, even the church we go to and stuff like that, like, anybody that knows us shouldn't be confused about
Who we voted
for. And if you are, then I don't know how to get any clearer than this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's really, we were never confused. We were never teeter-tottering, like, none of that.
Yeah.
We always knew which way we were going to vote based off policies and the person. Like, it wasn't like, oh, but she's this way, so duh. No. Or it wasn't, oh, so he's like, he's not conservative. Whatever. He presents the party as being conservative, so this way. Or his policies say this and his policies say that. Like, it wasn't really like a thing for us to be confused about.
When somebody says look at the policies and not the person, that's like saying that a bad person can sit. I don't like that doesn't make sense because I'm just like, I don't get it. Like when somebody says look at the policies and not the person.
Okay, I think a great way, not to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
But I think a great way to look at it is we all have been through relationship problems and issues. Like, people always tell you, people show you exactly who they are. I got you, bro.
And when
you preach this to me on a daily basis.
Like, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. The first time.
The first time.
Not that we learned from this situation.
We're growing.
As a country.
Oh, as a country.
No, we know. we got there. That frontal lobe is coming in hot.
Yeah.
But, no, like, as a country, when somebody shows you who they are the first time, you have to believe them.
Yes.
And a lot of people, when they're talking about policies, they're talking about the economy, and how prices have been high and inflation's been high, and they want to be able to afford groceries and buy a house and all the things.
Yes.
Now, if Trump is going to be the president,
next president,
he's the 47th president. Now, if prices drastically drop and y'all are out here buying houses out the wazoo, kudos. But from where I'm standing, it was a life-altering decision for who I decided what should be the next president.
Yes.
Because the reality is, when Trump was president the last time, people were dying. People that looked like us were dying.
Left and right.
And okay, let's go back to the policies. I know a huge topic for policies is abortion, and how we're trying. We as Christians, we put Jesus loved the children. Everybody knows the story. Jesus loved the little children, all the little children of the world, whether yellow, black, and white. The song, like we know the nursery rhymes.
Yeah.
Like I'm here for supporting children and making sure that children are safe in the world we live in today. But going back to these policies aren't black and white. Saying abortion should be illegal is the most. It's vague.
Yeah.
I don't believe in abortion.
Absolutely
I will look you in your face and tell you I do not believe in abortion because I believe that if I conceive a baby, that baby should have every reason to come into this world, whether it was done before marriage or any of that, even though I believe in waiting till marriage and stuff like that. A lot of people know.
And we do have a lot of aspects that come into play that make us even more confident in why we are against abortion.
Like, I have a loving family. I knew that
we have the support.
I knew I had the support. Yeah, I knew that. Like, listen, like, the biggest way for me to refrain from any activity that could even get you pregnant in college was I'm like, I can't get pregnant at this stage of my life. Like,
and our dad was all like, he was always like, your life is over. You will come home. You will raise that child.
And that's the reality, because I mean, and that's what I would want to do. It's not even about taking away that choice. That's something that I would choose to do, because I don't believe in abortion. I wouldn't have one just because I wasn't ready to have a kid. Because if I get pregnant, I guess I'm getting ready to have a kid. Like, that would be the reality of it.
Yeah.
But when I say it's not black and white, I mean that there's, as an African American woman, who not only has been statistically proven to be neglected in hospital rooms after having children,
with the laws allowing
with
us.
Roe v. Wade, with all that has been known to be neglected, and oh, she's fine, and oh, that's normal, and then you get home and complications happen. Like, I already knew I'm already advocating for myself in that way. I'm already set up to advocate for myself in that way.
Because we're already at a disadvantage, and they're just adding things on top of it.
Like, it's not, like, do people abuse the right to have an abortion? Absolutely. But there is so many more complications that can happen when getting pregnant. There's infertility. I didn't know how big the infertility community in women was till TikTok. I'm like, dang, everybody's struggling with fertility. Everybody's struggling to have kids. And y'all are taking away people's options, saying that people are killing babies. I'm like, it's just not that simple.
So what we really believe in is we believe in free will.
Yes.
God gave us the ability to decide for ourselves if we wanted to believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
He gave us that. He didn't have to. When he created the world, he could have been like, my way or the highway, period.
Right.
But he put us all on this earth to allow us to make the decision of whether we want to follow him or not.
And salvation is a choice. That is the whole point of Christianity. We will never be perfect. Jesus was the only perfect man that walked this earth.
Yeah.
And we will never live up to those standards. So we serve a God who meets us where we're at.
Right here.
Regardless. And how you vote does not make you a better Christian than the next person.
At all.
And I feel like that's how a lot of people are. That's a lot of people's narrative.
And that's how a lot of people were manipulated into voting a certain way. Not to accuse anybody of anything. Everybody has a right to believe what is important to them. Because at the end of the day, somebody voting, a large majority of the people that voted for Trump don't look like me. Therefore, they don't have the same problems as me. They don't face the same daily issues as me. They don't have the same mortality rate when it comes to even having kids as I do.
Yeah.
So like, why are you worried? You're right. I get it. Like,
go how you please.
It don't affect everybody. But like, at the same time, if we're gonna consider ourselves caring human beings and preferring others and looking out for people, and people say, oh, I'm a Christian, I give to the poor, I give back to the community. A great way to do this is by sympathizing with those around you.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
So it's all like, almost, and I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me. That's Candace Owens' biggest thing. Like, oh, don't feel sorry for me because I'm black. Whatever. That is not the argument.
Right.
We're going based off facts. We're going based off statistics. We're going based off what we've personally experienced. We have all this stuff to back up how we're feeling. We're not voting based on emotion. That might be what it looks like to people being told certain things or what they're seeing from the outside looking in, but we're not. And then, okay, take out the color of my skin. You got women in general being affected by this.
Yeah.
Like, it's not all simple and straight to the point. Like, this is a scary scary thing. And when options are taken off the table, it gets 10 times scarier.
It's dicey. Like, you're already having reports about women in Texas who have died because the law was so vague that they were like, this baby still has a heart.
Yeah.
It's on your, like, the uterus is a complicated organ. It's like, there's a lot that goes on. I don't know the specifics because I'm not a doctor. But this woman, she suffered from sepsis days after they waited too long for her to remove the baby because the baby was not going to be born. They waited for the baby to essentially die in her stomach, and then they removed the baby, and then 3 days later she came back with sepsis and died.
Yeah. We just, we also have to take into account that we have to pay attention to the people that are already here as well. Yeah. We have to pay attention to the women that are actually living and breathing.
And now there's no baby or mother. So
who is this saving?
Who's being served? Who's being served? Because the child ain't here, and neither is the mom.
Well, she had a daughter and a husband that she
who no longer has her.
So it's hard. And this is just our general personal opinions on the topic. We believe that you shouldn't have an abortion, but there are things that could that could make things blurry and or complicated. Yeah. And you have to trust your own personal relationship with God to make that decision. It definitely isn't up to law. It's definitely not up to man. Yeah. Because we have a right to make our own decisions. Yeah. And that's how we feel about it. But this is the world we're living in. So, okay, that is abortion. That's one topic that people really dwelled on in their decision, which is like sad.
Yeah.
And then
there's so much more.
And then the other topic is economy.
Yeah.
You have a man taking a lot of credit and twisting this narrative to make young people believe that they're gonna wind up rich just because of a person sitting in office.
Right.
It's diabolical.
Right.
Like, you got a lot of people, like, let's be so for real out here. If you don't have a business degree, no disrespect, and I mean this, no disrespect to anybody, there is literally topics that you won't even see on your track through life.
Yeah.
Because they don't teach it in public schools unless you choose certain credits. If the Title I school's offering that specifically, if they're offering accounting, if they're offering financial literacy, it's not a requirement.
Right.
And then for those who end up making it to college, biology 1 and 2 is a requirement before any basic level of business education. When this is how you live, you eat, you breathe, like, this is how you make it after you get into the real world. It's not taught. And the only thing that people are believing is what they are told.
Yeah.
No,
their heart, like, the people, like, Donald Trump is the ultimate businessman. He's survived bankruptcies. He's survived being shut down, putting himself back together as far as business goes. Like, he's harping on what we do not know as a society when it comes to making it financially in this world.
Yeah.
He got it figured out. And he's like, because I got it figured out, y'all gonna listen to whatever I say as far as those policies go.
People see the giant number beside his name and assume that he knows what he's talking about. And does he? Sure. But is there something that you can do for yourself? Absolutely. I believe that if we really care, if you personally care about your financial well-being and the economy, then you should go out there and get your education about it. You shouldn't just be focused on, gas is $4. That means there's problems and we're struggling. That's a factor. But if we go into our personal lives, know the difference between everything. Assets and liabilities, knowing the difference between, okay, if I have this much money, I don't need to be having more bills than people don't understand.
Yeah, people don't know the simple stuff.
They don't know the basics of that could help keep them out of trouble, help keep them from running up a credit card, help keep them financially stable. People do not know the basics of that, and I think that's what we need to focus on before we go all the way to the top and assume that one of the two people could help put more money in their pocket.
Right.
Like, that's just not given. And then you got all these checks
and taxes.
Yeah.
And like, Trump has talked about taking away Social Security and Medicare,
Yeah.
and like people,
the whole Republican side has.
like people live off that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, those are put into place so when you can no longer work because you are too old, physically incapable, there is still a check coming.
Yeah. Regardless of how much money you saved on your 401k, because some people don't even have that knowledge of how to do that.
Yeah.
Or their Roth IRA, people do not know about this stuff.
Right.
And that's some of the things that people rely on, and they're trying to take that out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just, there's a lot of different aspects. Like, we have to do our own personal research, or we have to worry about ourselves specifically before we go blaming other people.
Right.
Like, the economy is a really complex topic.
Yeah.
Like, it's not straight in there. It's not a one way. Everybody says this, there's not one way to the top of anything. There's not one way to the top of a company. There's not one way to $1 million. There's not one way to ultimate success.
Yeah.
Or anything.
And the thing is, like, okay, so let's look at the facts, because everybody's like, oh, when Trump was president, the economy was better. Okay, so when Obama became president back in 2009, there was a huge recession,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody was affected by that. Families were affected, the economy was affected, people's jobs were affected,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately Obama pulled us out of that with
Yeah.
Obamacare and Medicare.
Obama put the economy back together.
Yeah, he put it back together, and then you have Trump that comes in office,
And it took him all 8 years to really
it took Obama all 8 years to really.
Everybody says it all the time. 2016 was like one of the best years ever because he really put in the work to get America back to where it was.
Like, he built that economy. Like, think about it. Like, when 2016 is happening and the economy's good, and Trump's riding the wave of a good economy that was put in place when he comes into office, and then COVID hits. And then he's out.
Like, there's so much to take into consideration, and we can't pick and choose what we want to focus on. Like, it's just not right.
Like, so Biden's coming into office post-COVID.
Like, really during/back in.
Yeah, like back in, like, because COVID hit 2020, like March 2020, and then Biden came into office like January 2021. So he's coming into that, and y'all are like, oh my gosh, like, it's terrible. Like, all the inflation that happens because money was being sent to families to aid them, essentially, because people can't go into work. Nobody's going outside, but you still got to eat, live, breathe, all the other things.
Yeah, and Democrats were the majority on the other side, and there's a segregation of duties that helps all this stuff happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, I think it's hypocritical to say one person is going to be what solves this. I think it's hypocritical for Christians to come on their own social media platforms and talk about freedom of religion and try to scare people into voting a certain way, because that is not what this election was about. It wasn't. Because at the end of the day, I think everybody knows, like, the Palestine and Israel situation, and we Christians believe that, okay, Israel has to stay intact in order for the world to go round.
Yeah.
And both sides agreed that wasn't going to waver.
Yeah.
So you take that out, which is why abortion and economy was so picked on in the first place.
Yeah.
Because that was the first argument Christians looked to.
Yeah.
Once that was off the table, that's when economy and abortion got focused on and stuff like that. And then these topics are really hard to understand. For me, I wasn't confused about this because I do have 2 business degrees. I do have a good amount of education to not be like
confused
or pushed in one direction or the other. I have a great relationship with God where I don't have to be pushed in one direction or the other.
Exactly.
So those are just our thoughts on the policy side of it.
Yeah, and the fact, okay, let's go to the person.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people believe that a female African American woman shouldn't lead our country.
Let's not even touch that yet. Let's go back to the qualification.
Yeah.
Bump gender and ethnicity.
Yeah.
Let's look at the qualifications.
Right.
We're dealing with an overqualified woman who started out as had their full education, was a district attorney of San Francisco, moved up to a attorney general of the whole state of California, and then a senator. So she was in there helping make decisions.
Yeah.
She walked that whole path. And then on the other side, you just have a man with money, but then he's a felon. Like, I'm really like, don't look at the person, it's diabolical.
Yeah.
Like, I go through all this education and trying to handle myself a certain way, trying to learn as much as I can. And that's how I describe myself as a person. Really educated, hardworking, and you can see that through everything I've been through. I haven't broken a law.
Yeah.
Like I don't even have a speeding ticket on my record. And all that doesn't matter.
Like,
that is hypocritical. Because this is how most of the people in this world get their jobs.
Yeah.
Based off who they are, based off how good of American citizen they are, and based off their level of education. So to tell us to throw that out the window,
when you got convicted felons and people that are
sexual assault cases,
people that are fresh out of jail who will never get a job, who will be homeless, who will be on the streets because they stole a candy bar from the candy store. So like, the double standard is
diabolical.
It's crazy.
Like, is. So you have an overqualified woman, African American, Indian, she is the standard of a minority. To a white male who can do whatever he wants. Like, y'all are basically showing, like, this was the biggest, that nothing's changed. I mean, this was the biggest experiment. Like, the election was a mega experiment on how black women are treated in America.
Because you can be overly qualified, you can show up, work twice as hard,
and still not be good enough.
The Republican side and people what was put out to go against Kamala, they tore her to shreds. I mean, they're like, she laughs weird, like
she changes her accent. We have to code switch.
Like,
that is a fact. We literally have to code switch for whatever situation we're in, because we could come off as over aggressive black women.
She's talking slower. We have to choose our words wisely.
Like,
you
she
can't
is literally us for the world to see. It's gut wrenching,
and it's like, it's not to blame
a
specific community.
No, absolutely
because
not.
At the end of the day, white males or white women, to a certain degree, disregarding abortion and stuff like that, they're not facing the same reality and adversity as us African American women and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like, they might not have the same concerns that we do, and that's the reality, which makes that okay. Vote for who you please. But we as a community have people in our community that have been told and essentially brainwashed into believing that voting for Trump will make them a better Christian.
Yeah.
And even though they know that we as black women struggle in America, black men have been killed in the streets, targeted. Like, the amount of black men who died during Trump's presidency because police officers just think that everything's okay, because essentially Trump is making it seem like it's okay to just do whatever.
Yeah.
It's okay to like Black Lives Matter started during Trump's presidency.
Yeah.
Not before, not after, during. Because we're like, wait a minute. Our lives are at stake. So we gotta re-explain that Black Lives Matter. So while
while one side is pushing freedom of religion, and I've only heard one person say this, but I follow that person really well in how she views Christianity and how she goes about the world. So I felt really not disrespected, but just confused and hurt as to how, like, looking at everything, that was what she got from me. Because it's not about that. For some of us, it's life or death.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah, and just because Trump's not the one in the streets doing the crimes against the black community and stuff like that, it's the protection that essentially white counterparts feel like they have when he's in office, or when he's in leadership. Period. The first ever non-peaceful transfer of power happened because Trump didn't win his re-election. These white men, the white community, marched on Capitol Hill and were like, we're upset that Trump. We cannot do that. We will die.
Slaughtered
we
on the
will
side.
die.
We would have been slaughtered across the street. That's just, and I'm getting graphic, but that's just actual factual information. Period.
Because essentially, it's wrong.
Yeah,
like,
it's illegal to do that.
So you cannot do that. Like, peaceful protest, that's fine. But they looted. They marched in there. They tore things up. People died. Like, and they sat in there like, this is what it is.
And Trump said, then hyped it up even more.
He was like, this is what happens when things aren't done my way. Like,
but we live in a democracy. Okay.
Like, look at how our community is approaching this election.
Yeah. Very, very classy, very demure. Wouldn't expect anything else from our fellow soror.
Like, what do you have? You have women on social media crying. Because it's like, what else are we supposed to do? Like, we're hurt. We're like, dang, this is sad. But, like, this is our next president. And we have to proceed accordingly.
And with caution and with whatever's coming our way and stuff like that. But there is a side that clearly feels comfortable and I guess okay with who's heading into office. And
there was a lot of people. It was a landslide. It was a landslide.
Yeah.
So obviously there's a lot of people out there in America who believe that Trump was the better candidate and wanted Trump to be president. And I don't want to be anywhere near saying I told you so. So I hope y'all got it figured out.
Like, maybe that everything works out
because Jesus is still king.
Exactly.
And it's like, of course Kamala doesn't have everything in place that we agree with. Like, Javi and I, we're not huge on the LGBT community and stuff like that. We love our neighbors and
we have friends and stuff.
And we love everyone, but we believe what we believe and we don't have any problem saying that. So yes, we are more conservative.
Like,
that
we
way.
only believe there's two genders.
There's like in when men competing in women's sports. I do not agree with that. It should be addressed. It is not okay. That's a step back, just the same as abortion is a step back. So, choice is a step back. So I just I want to make clear that I'm a Christian woman. I'm a Christian first, but I'm also African American woman, and I have to survive.
Yeah.
So
the survival of the fittest out here.
Yeah.
So we just want to personally thank Kamala Harris and Tim Walz for their campaign
and the work that they put in, and just confidence to just stand up there for what you believe.
Kamala Harris showed us that it's possible.
Yeah.
She showed us that we can, and one day we will. And people that look like us can be successful in the United States of America.
Because we love America too. We love this country too. That's why
this
we're
is
here.
all we know. We're not
African American.
Like, we can go back generations and we cannot find that African descent because we were dragged here so many centuries ago. A century ago. Like, we literally don't know and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
like we're not first generation
Yeah,
American in our
that's
family.
what it
Like
is,
that,
yeah.
like our family is rooted in Georgia.
yeah, and we are
Way
part
back.
Cherokee.
Yeah, and
so
on our mom's side we're part Cherokee. So like we are American through and through.
and we deserve the same rights as our brothers and sisters around us,
Yeah.
and we deserve the same respect. So we commend her for her fight, for her effort.
Yeah.
We commend her for taking it with grace and class when everything went down.
Mm-hmm.
We commend her for holding her head up high, because I've been in my day-to-day life where I struggle to hold my head up high
Right.
with what I'm going through and how I'm being treated because of the way I look, no matter my education and no matter how hard I work. So
Yeah.
I commend her.
I still feel uncomfortable.
I commend her. So I'm just grateful that somebody that it looked like me even tried.
Yeah.
She walked, one day we will run.
Yeah.
I truly believe that, and we can be on the right side of things. We can
Be on the right
be
side
a
of
Christian
history.
and still believe what we believe.
Yeah, because we are entitled to our opinion, and everybody's conviction is different. And I had kids in my youth group just asking me questions, and I'm like, I'm gonna be real with you. Like, my Baptist side believes
Something
one thing,
completely
and then the non-denominational side believes another thing, because we do look different and we do have different views of the world.
Yeah.
And that's not to make it subjective, because
No.
the truth is objective.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also
And there is a worldview, and there is a godly Christian
Yeah,
view.
and
That's true. We
yeah.
just can't pretend like some factors don't exist.
exactly.
So we also want to congratulate Donald Trump for winning the president-elect, and we
Are praying.
are praying for this country, and we are praying for our rights. We are praying for everyone, not just the people that look like us.
Yeah.
We're praying for this economy.
Mhm.
Levine and I are even considering being an advocate for financial literacy.
Yeah.
Seeing how we can
Yeah,
do
no,
our
we
part.
are doing that. That's what
We
we
are.
wanna do.
We're starting a business. Not to get into that in this episode,
Yeah.
but our goal is to help people be more financial aware, and so they can be financially successful.
Yes, absolutely.
So we love y'all so much. We love this country. We love the people.
God.
Yeah, we love God.
Absolutely.
Always start there. We love God. We love the people that look like us. We love
People
the
that
people
don't look like
that
us.
don't look like
The people
us.
who agree with us and the people who disagree with us.
We are who we are.
Yeah.
We're proud
Unapologetically.
to be Christian, African American women, and we will never waver. Not for anyone. We're never scared. Not for anyone.
That's
That's
what
our parents raised us to be.
exactly.
So,
yeah,
thanks for tuning in to Keeping It Together.
but separate. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.